Discover how to rescue your time.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this short little drive-by episode. Just getting ready for our next podcast. This will be episode number 18. This will be the third in the Suspicious Activity series, I guess. Part of the book, The Gray Stage by me, Greg Fernandez Jr. And we've been covering the suspicious chapter. I think totally we've done, 3 shows if you include item 53, which is a part of that chapter. So, we're moving right along here. This will be the final chapter that deals with the actual crime scenes themselves, the crime scenes. So we've now just about covered just about everything as far as the documentations related to the actual crime scenes on those particular days. 3 days. January 17th, 2015, January 20th, 2015, and then February 18th, 2015. So of course, on January 17th, 2015, the bodies of David, Kamel, and Rania Crowley were found in their Apple Valley home. On January 20th, a bullet rolled out of a carpet while the cleaners were cleaning up the house on January 20th. That's technically, I would say, the second crime scene, whatever. And then the third is February 18th, that the police were notified about a bullet hole in the living room ceiling, which led, once they were in the house on February 18th, 2015, the police not only saw the obvious bullet hole, they saw a bullet. So a bullet had been apparently sitting there for 1 month. If you include the fact that they think that David and Kamel and Rania died, they were 3 weeks prior to being found on February 17th, so sometime around December 25th, December 26th is when they think all 3 of the bodies were all dead. They were all, so they were all there lying in the living room, is the official theory. So if you include that, I mean, you're talking about, a long time, almost 2 months, that there's a bullet sitting in the attic and nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. Nobody knows that it's there because nobody saw the bullet hole in the attic or in the living room ceiling. So when the police were looking for everything, they obviously were not looking in that attic for anything. So that's what we're going to cover. Next, we're going to be talking about, I believe this may be the final section of the Suspicious Activity chapter, page 78. That's as far as we've gotten. So 17 shows that we've done, 1 show every month, and we've only gotten to page 78 in my book. It's about 230 pages, so still a long ways to go, but this will be kind of the end of the first part of the book, is what I would say. Maybe the second part, depending on if you try to include the 2 bullets that were found later. If you include those in part 1, then yeah, this would be the end of the first part here. Gets pretty interesting. We are going to talk about who was in the house, who says they were in the house. We've talked about some of that stuff. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper to what Mason Hendricks has, what he said when I spoke with him. So I think most of it kind of focuses there, and so it'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks about it, about this last part of this chapter here. I also did a show with Ross maybe last Sunday, so it's about a week old, and Ross from Planet X Filmworks, who's done some great coverage of the Zodiac case. And they also do movie reviews and things like that, television show, TV series. They go over all that. So they've done a really good job, him and his crew there. So make sure that you subscribe to that channel. I believe that is Planet X Filmworks on YouTube. So subscribe there. Anyways, Ross and I did a show, and we went over mostly David's 2014 script. We did touch a little bit on the 2013 script, so Ross is going to read that one next, and then we're going to do a show specifically on the 2013 script. So there was a lot of teasers that I was giving him about the 2013 script, because I think that he will like that one a lot more than the 2014 one. We'll see. We kind of described it as the 2014 script is like Tom Clancy. The 2013 script is like Stephen King. And that's probably the best way that I could lay it out to you in just a couple seconds. So that was a very fun show, because we haven't talked too much about the scripts that much, really. Even though I'm sure we should. I'm sure do several shows on that. I didn't include any of those scripts in my book because I didn't have them at the time. So now that we do, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Maybe somebody else will. The other thing, William Rail and I also did a show on. William Rail does shows on Twitch, Strange Investigation. So if you're on Twitch, type in Strange Investigations and favorite that one. So we did a good show on the text messages from Hendrix, Mr. Mason Hendrix, and I believe this was back in 2017 when I was chatting with him. I think he and I started chatting in 2016, but it carried over into 2017 as well. So, and I don't think that what I had is all of the conversations or all of the text messages, but it's pretty much a good portion of them. I think it's about each screenshot. You know, if you total up the screenshots, it's about 80 pages or so. Lots of stuff in there. Some of that stuff did get put into the book in the suspicious activity chapter, and then there was some that I have included in the extra bonus chapter. That I'm still figuring out what to do with that one. That chapter seems to keep growing into about 40-50 pages now, and that could easily be another book, I suppose. But it's just kind of a mess. There's no rhythm. There's no really real flow to it. It's just kind of all the stuff that didn't get put in to this book for various reasons. Mostly I couldn't find the flow. A lot of it wasn't really necessary to the story that I was trying to tell. And it was pretty much my best attempt at kind of like a documentary, a written documentary, I guess. If I were to make a documentary on this case, the way that I wrote my book is pretty much how I would want the documentary to flow. So obviously that's going to be hard. That would have been, a couple films, not just one, but that was the goal of that book, is to just kind of cover all of the basics, all of the necessary things relevant to this case that would either prove or disprove David Crowley guilty. So that was kind of the focus there, to use the documentations, not focus on what he said or she said, or what these people think, or all that. People are doing that. That's just naturally going to happen. People are naturally just going to do that on their own. So the book's focus was always just to kind of be like a research guide, source it all. People have a question, people read a sentence and like, well, that's weird. Then they can go and they can look up that source and further their own research wherever the truth leads you. So that's the thing there. So so three great shows that we did within the last couple weeks, really within a week, maybe 2 weeks. And you just never know what's going to happen next. But William Rail does shows on the Crowley case, I believe, on Twitch. He's got like 28 or 29 shows up now. And then he needs to get more on the YouTube, because I think the YouTube only has like the first 5 shows, maybe the first 6 shows. So he's got a lot of work to get all those up on the YouTube channel as well. So anyways, just wanted to kind of throw some of that stuff out there and say thank you all for everything that you've been doing to help keep this case going. Your continual support for the podcast really helps it. Looking at this case, downloading that free book that I wrote. Write your own book too. Start your own blog, make your own videos. Lots of great videos that I keep seeing out there, worldwide videos too. So kind of sucks because I don't speak any other languages, so I don't really know what they're saying, and even sometimes the subtitles too are or the captions, they can only do the best that they can. But it is pretty crazy to just look at some of the worldwide reach of this case. Just looking at the podcast numbers and just the Spotify numbers, not including any of the other podcast platforms that may be out there too. Just the Spotify numbers have been pretty interesting to see, and it's everywhere. A lot of the Middle East, lots of Australia, the UK, obviously the USA is on the Spotify numbers, at least, there's a lot more there. So then the UK is second, I think Australia is third, and then it kind of whittles down from that point. Canada too, Canada is right up there as well. So we're just gonna keep moving ahead and figuring out what we can do to get the case reopened. We gotta try, and we can't give up. And then we'll see where that leads us. Who would have the power to reopen the case? It's another question that keeps coming back and back. Do we really expect the Apple Valley Police Department to reopen their own case, to say, whoops, we messed up, all right, let's do something to get it right? Without the public outcry, probably not going to happen. And they know that, and a lot of people know that. And for some reason, they're still worried, though. They're still worried about us being out there, asking questions, answering questions when people ask questions. We are the ones who are giving you the other side, because from the very start, it was all David's guilty, that's it, case closed, let's move on and try to make money off of his project. And then you had us who were kind of like, wait a minute, hold on, what about this, what about that, what proves this, what proves that? You guys are so adamant in saying David Crowley, your friend, your co-worker, your comrade, you're so adamant in saying that he's guilty, you forgot to provide the evidence. And then they get angry when they can't provide the evidence, and you have the audacity to ask them for it. How dare you? How dare you? We're not supposed to ask. We can ask questions on anything else that they want to cover, that they're looking at, but not on this one, because it's a big black eye for them. Gray eye. So anyways, that's all I wanted to really say. Please come back on July 1st, and we will have the next podcast episode. This will be episode number 18, like I said. The Suspicious Deaths, Part 3. In and out. They only had a limited amount of time to get in and out of there on January 19th, unless they were in there twice. So you can go back to the 911 call from January 19th. Not January 17th, but January 19th. And you can see how little time they had to get in that house, to be in the house, to see the bullet hole, to see the multiple holes, the hole in the ceiling and the hole in the ground. You know, they didn't have much time. What the hell were they doing there? Why were they there? How did they know that the police were going to come? Because they were out. They were conveniently out of there before the police got there. And we know there were other people who were dropping off things, flowers and stuff like that. But we're talking about the people that were in the house on January 19th. That's the focus, inside the house. And we have people who have admitted to being in the house on January 19th. We have people who have accused other people of being in the house on January 19th. So hopefully we can cover that and answer any questions that anyone has. Please feel free to join us. I will try to do this one live. This one I will try to do live on the YouTube channel, the Gray Stage YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, please do. We're getting close to 600 subscribers, which is great. The interest seems to keep growing. For some reason, the voter fraud, the COVID stuff, it really has made people take a second, maybe third look at the David Crowley case. So who knows? Who knows what else will have people taking a look at David Crowley and what happened to him and his family, the brutal killing, and the quick response, the rush to judgment, just similar to John F. Kennedy, similar to September 11th. So the people who believe John F. Kennedy was killed by Oswald, people who believe that 9/11 was a result of a guy in a cave ordering 19 people to get on planes, take the planes over and fly them into buildings, and somehow that would cause the buildings to explode in certain levels at certain times, including Building 7. It's not surprising to me that people who believe the official theory of September 11th and of John F. Kennedy want to believe that David Crowley is guilty so quickly. What is surprising to me is that the Gray State goons who have spent all of this time acting like they really care about the future of this country and the rising police state and all of that shit, which they don't really care about. If they did, they'd put a little more effort into something that happened so close to home to one of their quote-unquote friends. So there's their double standard for what they can see and what they can focus on, and then what they choose not to. So they come off like gatekeepers. That's all to me. People believe it. Some people want to believe it. Thankfully, a lot of people I know are smarter, much smarter, and they don't believe their crap. Maybe they did. I wanted to. I still would. All they would have to do is show the factual evidence, which they can't do. The evidence that they say is there is not there. So, we'll talk about all that. God bless you all. I am going to walk into Whole Foods without a mask on, and looking forward to that. All right, God bless you all.